Have you ever bought a brand new speaker, only to wonder why it sounds flat, lifeless, or somehow worse than the old stereo your parents had sitting in the living room? You're not imagining it. In fact, many audio enthusiasts believe that some speakers built 30 or even 50 years ago can outperform many modern speakers costing hundreds or even thousands of dollars. So what happened? Did speaker technology actually get worse? Or are manufacturers sacrificing sound quality for something else? Today, we'll explore why so many modern speakers fail to impress, what changed in the audio industry, and 4 vintage speakers that continue to surprise listeners with their incredible performance and value. Whether you're just starting your hi-fi journey or you've loved great audio for years, this video might completely change how you look at speakers. Welcome to Retro Chronicles, the channel where we explore the timeless world of hi-fi, vintage audio equipment, legendary speakers, classic amplifiers, and the engineering that shaped music listening for generations. If you appreciate honest sound, classic craftsmanship, and learning what really makes great audio, you're in the right place. If you enjoy this video, consider subscribing and joining our growing community of vintage audio lovers. We have many exciting stories, reviews, and buying guides coming soon. Now, let's find out why so many modern speakers disappoint, and why some forgotten classics still sound incredible today. Why modern speakers often disappoint. Let's be clear from the beginning. Not every modern speaker is bad. There are outstanding companies building world-class loudspeakers today. But when we look at the affordable market, the speakers that most people actually buy, the situation becomes very different. Many modern speakers are designed around marketing before music. Manufacturers compete on features: Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, voice assistants, RGB lighting, app control, tiny cabinets, portable designs. These features are convenient, but none of them automatically improve sound quality. In many cases, the budget goes toward electronics and marketing instead of better drivers, stronger cabinets, and higher quality crossover components. As a result, many speakers end up sounding overly bright, with exaggerated bass and very little natural detail. They impress for 5 minutes in a store, but become tiring during long listening sessions. The shift from craftsmanship to cost-cutting. Go back to the 1970s and 1980s. Hi-fi was serious business. Families often saved for months or even years to buy a stereo system. Manufacturers knew their reputation depended on sound quality. Many companies built cabinets from real wood veneer. Drivers used larger magnets. Cabinets were heavily braced. Crossovers often included better capacitors and carefully selected components. Speakers weren't designed to look good on Instagram. They were designed to disappear and let the music speak. Today, mass production has changed everything. Companies compete globally. Reducing manufacturing cost by just a few dollars per speaker can save millions. Plastic replaces wood. Simpler crossovers replace more sophisticated designs. Cabinets become thinner. Drivers become cheaper. The result isn't necessarily terrible, but it's often less satisfying. The loudness illusion. Here's something fascinating. Many speakers are intentionally tuned to sound exciting during a quick demonstration. Retail stores are noisy. Manufacturers know customers usually listen for less than 2 minutes, so they boost the bass, boost the treble, reduce the mid-range. This creates the illusion of more detail, more excitement, more power. But after hours of listening, vocals become harsh, instruments lose realism, the music becomes fatiguing. Vintage hi-fi designers often pursued a different goal: natural balance, comfort, long listening sessions, a speaker that sounds enjoyable after 4 hours, not just 4 minutes. Why vintage speakers are making a comeback. This explains why vintage hi-fi has exploded in popularity. Collectors, music lovers, young enthusiasts, even professional recording engineers. Many are rediscovering older loudspeakers, not because they're nostalgic, but because they genuinely sound excellent. And surprisingly, many vintage speakers remain affordable, if you know where to look. Let's look at 4 of the best values available today. Vintage speaker number 1. Advent Large Loudspeaker. The original Advent Large Loudspeaker has become something of a legend. Designed in the early 1970s, it focused on one goal: delivering exceptional sound without an outrageous price. Its large acoustic suspension design produces deep, controlled bass that's still impressive today. Vocals sound warm, natural, comfortable. The speaker isn't flashy. Instead, the Advent consistently performs far beyond what many people expect. Well-maintained pairs can often be found at prices that compete with entry-level modern speakers, yet many listeners still prefer them. Vintage speaker number 2. KLH Model 5. The KLH Model 5 is another remarkable example. Originally introduced during America's golden age of hi-fi, these speakers were built with serious engineering behind them. Their biggest strength is balance. Nothing sounds exaggerated. Nothing sounds artificial. The mid-range is wonderfully realistic. Voices feel present. String instruments have warmth. Pianos sound believable. Instead of forcing excitement, the Model 5 simply lets recordings breathe. Many people are surprised how modern these speakers still sound after decades. Vintage speaker number 3. JBLL 100 Century. If you've ever seen classic recording studios from the 1970s, you've probably seen something that looks very familiar. The JBLL 100 became one of the most iconic speakers ever made. These speakers are energetic, dynamic, powerful. They love rock music. They love blues. They love live recordings. Their famous orange foam grille has become almost as legendary as the sound itself. The bass has impact. The mids have authority. The tweeter delivers plenty of detail. They're not the most neutral speakers ever built, but they're incredibly fun. And that's exactly why people still love them. Vintage speaker number 4. Wharfedale Denton. Vintage models. Sometimes great sound doesn't require giant cabinets. The vintage Wharfedale Denton proves exactly that. These compact British speakers focus on refinement rather than brute force. They excel with vocals, acoustic recordings. Their smooth presentation makes long listening sessions effortless. There's no exaggerated treble trying to impress you. Instead, everything sounds balanced, relaxed, natural. If your listening room isn't huge, the Denton may be one of the smartest vintage purchases you can make. Before rushing to buy old speakers, there are a few things to understand. Vintage speakers are still mechanical devices. Foam surrounds may need replacement. Capacitors inside the crossover can age. Cabinets may show wear. Tweeters can sometimes fail. The good news? Most of these issues are repairable, unlike many modern budget speakers that are difficult or impossible to service. With a little maintenance, a well-built vintage speaker can continue performing beautifully for decades. That's one reason vintage audio has become such a rewarding hobby. You're not simply buying equipment, you're preserving engineering history. Here's the biggest takeaway. Good sound has never been about old versus new. It's about design, engineering, materials, and priorities. There are amazing modern speakers. There are terrible vintage speakers, and vice versa. But if your budget is limited, exploring the vintage market often gives you access to build quality that would cost several times more if manufactured today. That's why experienced hi-fi enthusiasts continue searching flea markets, estate sales, online marketplaces, and local audio shops. Not because they're chasing nostalgia, but because they're chasing better sound. So, are 90% of today's speakers really garbage? Maybe that's a dramatic title. But it's certainly true that many modern speakers prioritize convenience, features, and cost over pure musical enjoyment. Meanwhile, countless vintage classics continue proving that great engineering never goes out of style. And for anyone willing to do a little research, the used market offers some of the best audio value you'll ever find. If this video helped you see speakers from a different perspective, give it a like and subscribe to Retro Chronicles. In our next videos, we'll dive deeper into legendary hi-fi brands, forgotten audio innovations, vintage amplifier guides, restoration tips, and the fascinating stories behind the equipment that changed the way we listen to music. Until next time, keep listening, keep discovering, and remember, sometimes the best sound isn't the newest sound. It's the one that has already stood the test of time.